Today we're crafting our ultimate leather survival kit. Stay tuned. Greetings adventurers and welcome to Skill Tree, where we learn how to do just about everything. Now it's starting to be that time of year again where I'm preparing to go out on many an adventure. We've got the world's largest LARP Conquest in Germany this year. We have the Brandywine Festival, which I'm super excited about. And who knows what else is on the horizon for us. But one thing I do know is every single time I go to one of these events, I have something break. It isn't just my spirit. It's usually like a piece of armor or a bag or a belt or something. Regardless of which it is, it always ends up being something that is absolutely annoying, like the very, very pivotal strap that I need to keep my armor together, or it's like a piece of my belt where my pouch would hang that's drooping. And I know this isn't just me, because I always have people coming up to me being like, hey, my, armor or something broke. Do you have something that I could use to fix it? And I'm happy to say that now, the answer is absolutely yes. I can fix the thing. What I've done here is I've put together a travel kit that should be able to fix almost anything I run into, at least as anything I can think of. And I thought it would be fun to go over not only kind of how I put it all together, but the thought process that went into each one. I know a lot of you who watch my channel, if you're not going to LARP events, you go to like rent fairs or maybe SCA events. Though honestly, whatever type of thing you do, it's fun to think of like the EDC kit that is going to get you through basically anything you run into. So that's this episode. Before we get started though, if you are trying to plan kind of your summer/fall of events, I humbly put forward that you come LARP with us if you can, just because I think that would be awesome. As I said, we've got the two that we're going to. There is Conquest in Germany, if you can swing that. There's going to be a link in the description below to join our camp so you can kind of hang out with us. Or if you want to stay in the US / would rather be in Middle Earth and be a hobbit in the Shire, you can come with us to the Brandywine Festival, whose tickets are still on sale. You can only get them through the Kickstarter, so make sure you check that out before they all run out. All right, without much further ado, let's jump into this little beauty. So first things first, we've got the form here, which is like a tight little bundle of a thing that I've added these little loops of leather to make it like easy to carry around, either this way or this way hanging from your belt. And for those of you who are especially astute, you may recognize this little tool roll here. A little while back, I did this episode, The Bag of Mending, in which I had all types of sewing kits, leather repair stuff, everything you might need when you're on the road. And though I've used the sewing part of it once or twice, the leather part of it, again, every single time. So much so that I really think I have a good feeling now of what should be in this kit, not just the stuff that I kind of rammed in there before. But yeah, if you want to learn how to make the little leather tool roll that this is, you can check it out right there. Dead simple though, it's just one piece of leather that I folded the edge in on itself, kind of how deep I want the pockets to be, and then just sewed little pockets into it. Just straight lines going down with thread. Super easy. All right, let's start breaking into this thing. Now, first things first, this strap here actually comes right off, and it is just strap o' leather. In fact, the only way it stays together is it has this little slit cut open here, so I can just kind of pass it through itself and then just cinch it tight. Not only does it give me a versatile strap to carry and keep everything together, but it gives me a strap of leather. I have no problem, by the way, bastardizing anything in this to solve a problem. So if I need another strap, this can be a strap I use, and I'll just kind of fold this up and shove it in my bag. Perfectly fine with that. Same with the entirety of this roll here. If I have to, I will cut this entire flap off. I will use this roll for whatever I need, and I'll just make another one. Not a big deal. This is for like an emergency situation. I would rather be comfortable and have everything work than have all of my little toolbox together here. Okay, so the next obvious thing is a hammer. If you're doing any kind of leather working, you really are gonna need some sort of a mallet. I'm using this rawhide mallet here. It's really light, it's on the smaller side. And since it's rawhide, it really won't mar things up too much if you have to hammer stuff. Onto the mallet, I have this leather cordage here, which is ostensibly to like hold it not only while it's wrapped up in the bag, but like while you're working on stuff, you can kind of just drop it, do other things, swing it back up, work with it. It's kind of, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of slick right there. It's like if Thor was a leather crafter. Just whoop. It's the little things, I guess. But just as with this is a way to store cordage. I think I have around a yard of cordage here, which would be fine if I needed to make a sling for myself. Honestly, I could kind of make some holes in this and turn this into a makeshift little pouch on my side if I had to. I don't gotta tell you, there's a million different uses for just some simple cordage. Okay, now let's get into the actual tools here. Now, I'm not gonna lie, when you lay out tools like this, there's something just kind of pretty about that. Now I'm gonna attack this in really no specific order. I didn't plan thoroughly for this. I'm just kind of ripping this apart and showing you what I made. So the first thing I got here is actually just a single kind of thread punch here, a little pricking fork. It's got only the one tine on it because really that's all I need. If we're in an emergency situation and I need to be sewing something together, I can go through it and just kind of punch the holes individually. I don't need the multi-tined pricking forks in order to do that. Now, there's an argument to be said that this little piece here might be a little bit redundant, and that's because I do have an awl, but there's a reason for this. One, I'll pull out the awl now. It's got some stuff on it, which I'll explain in a little bit. But one, I keep my awls really, really sharp, and if you're dealing with a thick piece of leather and you're not in an ideal situation, I don't like it when you're kind of fighting it and it has that sudden give. It just, there's a lot of possibility of you hurting yourself on this thing because it is so thin. I really don't want to hammer it because it'll bend. So with this little sucker, I can just kind of put it down, use my hammer, and easily punch these holes without worrying about my fingers being in the way. But actually, it's good I brought out the awl because the next part of why this is useful is the body of it is actually the body that goes to my hole punches. You see that it has this little cutout right here? That's so those tiny nubbins o' leather as you punch holes have a place to fly out of. It just so happened that my pricking fork tops fit right into that thing, which means I can carry a bunch of little hole punches too. I just grabbed 3 that are roughly representative of the different size holes I would need. If I need anything bigger, I can go ahead and use the awl and try to wallow it out if I have to. And if I need anything smaller, then I can either just punch the hole with the awl or use my little pricking fork there. So those are my 2 main ways of punching holes, which is like 90% of what leather crafting is, I feel. You're just punching holes and sewing stuff together, or like riveting stuff together, I guess. But if you're going to be punching holes, you need something to punch onto. If you're going on like a hard surface, a tabletop or whatever, you're going to destroy your punches, you're going to destroy your awl. Which is why I have this thick old piece of leather right here. That's all it is. It's a 12-ounce piece of leather. But let's say somebody brings me this strap here that needs to be repaired. Well, I could just lay it onto my leather here and then use my hole punch. Good to go. Punching holes, not breaking my stuff. Good day. This basically takes the place of our cutting mat. It's small. Again, I'm not going to be cutting any large pieces. This is a fine size to be doing little cuts onto, to be hammering holes into, anything that I need to do. This will probably be just fine. And it's another use for scraps. I'm always trying to find good use for leather scraps. I absolutely hate wasting leather, and this is just a really easy one. Let me try to do some semblance of order as I go. So now we've punched the holes, what do we do next? We're gonna fill them with either thread or with some sort of a rivet or something. Starting with the thread, I've got this little tube here. Now this was actually just some sort of like carbon fiber tube I had laying around. I think it belonged to a kite at one point in time. That I cut to size and I put wax in one end and a little piece of wood in the other end to act as a cork. But it could be anything. It could be an empty pen where you dump out the ink cartridge that's to the side, and that's your little empty tube, right? Around the tube, I have black and brown thread, about 3 yards of each. These are just the most common colors we're going to need, so if we're adjusting something or fixing something, it doesn't look glaring. They're also wax because wax thread just kind of holds up better in leather situation. The wax acts as almost like a lubricant so it doesn't like grind against the leather and break over time. It also makes it a lot easier to thread through the leather too. And then inside the tube, there it all comes. Inside the tube, we have all manner of little needle. All the needles here, all nice and contained inside this tube. This by itself, just take this, put it in your pocket. You're gonna be able to handle a lot of repairs just with this little tube here. And maybe the awl. This little tube and an awl, most of the other things in here are trying to fix something that has broken apart. This will handle that. They had to reduce it down to 2 pieces, these right here. But for more variety and more options, I've got this little pouch I've made here. This pouch, by the way, is a finger from my glove episode here. While I was testing stuff, I cut little tubes of leather out and sewed them together just to see how it would lay, and that's what this is. Again, we're stopping things from being wasted. At one end to close up this tube, I just added a rivet, and then the other end, I have this thing here. It's called a concho. And what it basically is like this little decorative button here that has a screw in back that attaches it. Which means right from the start, I have this little screw on back thing that I could use to repair stuff, right? Let's say you had a piece of armor that a rivet let go on or something. Well, you can just kind of stick the post through it. you can screw that in, and now you just have a little decorative thing that's actually holding the whole thing together. I feel like there's something to say about my life with that. It's very decorative and just barely being held together. Anywho, then inside of here, we have all manner of rivets. I have a D-ring in here. I have a whole bunch of little Sam Brown buttons. Again, all things that are going to make it so we can connect things together. Even just the D-ring and a bunch of these little jump rings I have here, these are great if we wanted to like manufacture something in a hot rush and make it just so something works. This is going to give us a nice point to connect multiple pieces, maybe like a few of these together. Yeah, with this and this, I could make a really nice sling that then connects to like a pouch just underneath it, and this is the point to which it holds on. Just there's plenty of possibilities with just the stuff I have right here. And a fun tip with the snap rivets is you don't need to bring that many different varieties of tops because the different size posts all fit within all of them. They're universal. And since most people aren't going to see the post, because that's the part that's actually going through the leather and like on the back of it, you could, just to kind of hold something together and get you through, use any size post that you need for the thickness of leather and then kind of find a top that will match it. So I have a bunch of different posts, but I have a few of the caps that are just different sizes, different colors, different shapes. Just give me options so it doesn't look like we did a field repair, but it's a field repair. Though that does leave us with an issue, because if we are going to try to set these rivets, we need a way to set these rivets. Most surfaces aren't going to be like smooth or as hard as we need it to be. Maybe we can find a nice smooth rock or something. But why? We're planning a kit. Let's just build a little piece of metal here. Honestly, this little piece of metal here, if you flip it over, has a bunch of indentations in it. This is actually a setter for buttons. But buttons are way too extra for what we're doing here. They come in 4 different pieces, and it has a totally different anvil for the top, or a striker rather, for the tops. But the bottom of this is perfectly flat, and it is metal. So again, somebody comes up to you, need this piece of leather fixed. We punch our holes, fit our rivet through, add our cap, and then, oh, also in this kit, I did put the striker in to go ahead and lock any of these rivets in place, because if we're going to have rivets, we do need at least one of those strikers. This one's pretty universal in size, so it's going to do it for most of the ones I have here. But anyways, we add it onto our piece of metal here, and then, now this table has a lot of give, so it's not ideal, but that still worked. That worked just fine. It's actually worked really good. So yeah, even in less than ideal situations, this little guy, it's all you need. I think you get the general idea of this. The name of the game here is forethought, right? Like, of all the things that could happen, what is the simplest way I could fix it with the tools that I have on me here? I think you get the general idea of this. The name of the game here is forethought, right? Just kind of working with what you got to be the best you can be, which is exactly what today's sponsor, Strawberry.me, helps you do. So normally, companies will reach out to us for like a sponsorship. We try the stuff out. I don't try to push anything that I haven't tried myself. And then assuming I think it's good, it makes it here in front of you. Today's sponsor is probably one of the best ones I've experienced so far. Basically, it offers personal coaching, like life coaching. It's super accessible. You just book it online, you fill out a quick little questionnaire, and then you're matched with a coach. My coach, Philip, is awesome, and I think this is kind of where it surprised me. I don't know, I guess a part of me was like, I don't really need the coaching, I just want to see what it's all about. After our call, like, I'm hooked. I'm gonna keep using the service, definitely. I really liked it because he didn't tell me like anything was wrong or tell me how to fix stuff. He just kind of walked me through like, what are your goals? What are some things that are in the way of your goals? How can we fix this? And then kind of brainstorm different ways to have different approaches or different outlooks on things. Anyways, their kind of like byline is the most important project you can work on is you, and I couldn't agree with that more. That's what we're about. We're leveling up ourselves. So if you want to give this a try, just go to strawberry.me/skilltree or check out my QR code here. And if you do that, you start your coaching with a $50 credit. So yeah, check it out. I really enjoyed it. Okay, where were we? We have some cordage, we have ways to punch holes, we have ways to put stuff together. Now how do we rend them apart? That's right, we're gonna need to cut some stuff sometimes, I'm imagining, probably. For that, I've decided to go with an X-Acto blade. The blade is out of it, we're safe. Mostly because this little guy is compact. It's really easy for me to pack into my little thing here. I just kind of took a piece of foam and I stuck X-Acto blades in it so it's safe. It's not gonna stab me in the hands or whatever. But yeah, whenever I need it, I just take the blade out, I put it inside of here. I'm not gonna right now. I don't trust myself. I'm not concentrating. I will cut myself. But yeah, you take the blade out, you put it inside of here, you have a sharp knife. I have 2 different blades in there, so if my knife dulls while I'm working on one thing, I have a sharp knife, because always work with a sharp knife. The most dangerous thing you can work with is a dull knife. And a mountain lion. I hear they're not friendly. A dull knife and a mountain lion. Dull knife first, though. You probably won't run into the other one very often. Ah, hell, I'm breaking my theme. I have one more way to stick things together here because it's attached to my little knife thing. But basically, it's this little wrap here. What I did was I took some Tanner's Bond tape and I just stuck it onto some baking paper so it was easy to peel back off. Tanner's Bond tape is a double-sided tape. This one is the permanent one and it holds really well. I was at first trying to finagle a way to fit some good glue in here, maybe some like, I don't know, barge cement or whatever. But honestly, I usually only use that to hold something together long enough for me to sew anyways, because that's gonna be more permanent. This does the same thing. It does it really well and it's so much easier to work with. Put it back, go back to where you belong. Get back to where you once belong. Now, there's something that is missing from all of this, and it was the hardest cut I think I've ever had to make in one of these kits. I have it off to the side here. It is my edge beveler. So because I'm imagining this is for more emergency style kind of repairs or whatever, you don't really need an edge beveler. It's gonna make everything look much nicer, much more professional looking. But I mean, in a pinch, you don't really need it. But it hurt me so much that I did do this instead. This is a piece of sandpaper. So, and this comes down to like understanding the principle of what you're trying to do with your tools. The whole purpose of this is to knock the edge down because those rounded edges, one, they take nicks less and whatever, but more than anything else, they just look much better. They look better than the raw rough edge, or raw sharp edge, I should say. But you grab some sandpaper and you just kind of sand away that edge. It does roughly the same thing, guys. It looks pretty close. I mean, this has an exact angle to it, so it's going to be much more kind of uniform as you go. But I mean, if you're running at me in a field and I have some time to look at your armor, I'm still gonna be like, that's a nice edge though. That's pretty good. Not only that, but with a little bit of sandpaper, you can kind of even out any erroneous cuts you got going on there. Anything that doesn't look right, you can just kind of fix up really quick. I stand by my decision. I think this was the right one. And actually it goes part and parcel with my next one here. Let me pull this little guy out. This is a piece of cloth. Within this piece of cloth is a piece of wax. Just a little piece of wax here. Now this is super versatile. It goes along with the edge beveler because you can kind of use it to get your edges nice and kind of shiny and waxed up. And then you can use this rag to burnish that edge. This is exactly the same thing that your burnishing tool would be doing, but it looks, again, no different. It's like a nice, shiny looking finished edge right there right now. You wouldn't be able to tell the difference that I use some sandpaper and a rag with some wax on it than if I actually used my burnisher with some like, you know, real edge coating or whatever. And again, I think that's why this exercise more than anything else is an exercise of understanding. What do all of these things do? You can go out and buy all the fanciest tools, whatever, but if you don't really understand the principle of what they're doing, you're just kind of wasting your money. I did an episode way back, and forgive me, I probably like have horribly dyed hair or whatever, but right here where I go over like not needing any tools to start leather, just whatever you have laying around. This is one step up from this. With this bare bones here, you can do almost everything. Now again, the wax is really great for a million different things too. If you have regular thread and you want to wax that thread so you're working with wax thread instead, which we talked about earlier, you got this now. You just run the thread over it. That works awesome. Something like this little piece of cordage I have right here, if you wanted to dress that up because it's got a bunch of little flyaways, you can go ahead and wax it. All those flyaways lay down. It looks like a nicer piece of rope, and honestly, it kind of burns better too. I use it all the time on the back of my pieces because I don't like how like rough the flesh is here. So I add just a little bit of wax to it. Then again, something to burnish it with, and I just lay all those fibers down. And now that's nice and smooth. It looks good. It's not gonna feel rough against me if I have an unfinished like leather bracer or something. And then it also waterproofs things, right? You can go ahead and seal your leather with a little bit of wax. Again, give it a nice shine, because wax shines up really, really well. And that, I don't know if you can make it out. Like, look at how shiny that is, right? This is one of the MVPs right here. Wax, really good one. Okay, what else? What else? So let's say we're repairing a thing, we've used our little sandpaper or whatever to mill out an edge, or we've had to cut a new piece and put it in place. We don't want that edge to really show up, right? It's gonna be regular leather colored, and if you have like black leather with now a little cut in it, it's gonna be kind of glaring. Which is why I added these two little fabric markers to the mix. Now, I really wanted to find a way to add some sort of a dye to this thing, but again, I don't trust myself at all. I would put it in like a little glass vial that I would definitely break, 100%. I'd find some other little thing to carry it in that would definitely break or spill or whatever, absolutely. But then I tested these out. These are actually just fabric markers I got from Michael's a while ago to use on fabric, amazing. But in using it on leather, it just works. I grabbed, again, brown and black because those are the most common colors we're gonna find in like armor or bags or whatever. But just kind of coloring it in place, that's brown. If you had brown armor, that's it. It doesn't come off easily at all. And if we were to seal that with our wax, it wouldn't come off, it would stay put. Same with the black. The black looks really good. And again, I just colored it on. It's not smearing, it's not going anywhere. These little fabric markers are like, they're great. These are great little touch-up pieces just to have in our kit. I just thought that was cool. It was like spare of the minute thing. I was trying to figure it out. I saw these in with my fabric materials and I'm like, yeah, you know what? Let's give it a go. Glad I did. Now I'm gonna be honest with you. I had a lot of little pockets in this thing because I originally designed it to just have a myriad of tools, things I did not need for emergency situations at all. But like, I covered all my bases that I can think of with these. I think we're pretty much good with what I got here. So I just ended up throwing in these tools for tooling leather. Honestly, it's the two most basic that I use all the time, which is my little edge beveler here and my backgrounder. Edge beveler, not to be confused with like the edge beveler. Same name, I guess, but this one's for tooling leather. This one's for, you know, beveling the edge. Anyways, if we ever find ourselves in a situation where, I don't know, we just kind of want to vibe and make cool designs, we can make that happen with this. With this and with the X-Acto blade, because you do need to have a little bit of a cut so that the beveler can push down that leather, right, and make an image. But yeah, you just draw it out on a thing, you use your X-Acto knife and really lightly trace those lines in, and then you can go to town and just kind of vibe and tool, I guess. Honestly, the only thing that's missing from all of this is just extra leather. Like if I just brought a roll of leather with me, using just this, I can make some bags, I could definitely make some belts, I can make straps, I can make a whole bunch of stuff using only what I have right here. And I like that. I think that's really cool. Again, this teaches us a nice thing that we don't need all of the fancy tools. We can do most everything with a really, really basic set of these tools here. So yeah, that is my ultimate leather crafting survival kit. Though I'm really curious what you think about this. Like, what would you add to yours? Or maybe leather isn't even your thing. Maybe you are a tailor or a seamstress or something. What would you add to yours? Perhaps you're into bushcraft, or you're at, I don't know, go to carpentry conventions. I'm sure there's a way you'd need like carpentry stuff in an emergency. Oh right, life. If you own a house or like live anywhere you need to do anything, having a little kit will do you good. Heck, same with like little automotive kits and stuff. There's just so many. Man, I love kits. I think it's an illness for me. Anyways, I hope this wasn't too rambly in an episode. It was kind of for two reasons. One, I had to put this together. I am going to a lot of events, and I shit you not, it has come so in handy in the past. So I really wanted to update it. And two, I messed up my hands. Like, I've been doing a lot of work lately, and I haven't been particularly careful. I think I'm gonna do a shop safety one next. But yeah, I've cut myself up in a few places, and I honestly just needed a little bit of time to heal before we make another project. So I hope you like this one here. If you did, why don't you give me some of that like it love, and don't forget to subscribe so you know when I release new content. All right, that's it for me today. After seeing this, I realized there are some like quick fixes on my armor and stuff that I need to get done before I go on adventures. So I'm gonna go gently do that now. In the meantime though, keep leveling up, you. You've made it to the end screen. YouTube loves it when you do that, and it's a fantastic way to support this channel. Another great way to support this channel is by joining these people's noble ranks. These are our Patreon, and we cannot do any of this without them. The almighty algorithm can be scary to work with for creators sometimes, and having our Patreon members really gives us a stability and makes it so we can make this channel grow. Special shout out to our Grand Master tier Patreon, WildFox99, Dragon Designs, Just a Guy from the Midwest, and Yuri Sastro. Again, giant thanks. We cannot do any of this without you. If you like what we do here and want to support us, consider joining our Patreon, link in the description below. Otherwise, you can click on one of these YouTube things you'd like, and that helps out a lot too. I've lost the thing with the blades in it. That's not good. Oh, got it. We're good.